Hi guys, this is the first video in a new series, The Road to 90-Degree Push-Up. It's going to be a bit of a different video to usual, where I'll be showing you clips from my training, explaining my workouts and progress, as well as what did and didn't work throughout this first phase of training. For those of you who haven't yet been introduced to the world of calisthenics, the 90-degree push-up is a skill which requires both great strength and balance, where you start in a handstand, lower down to a bent arm planche, then push back up to finish in a handstand. My starting point for learning this skill was being able to do 9 back-to-wall and 5 chest-to-wall handstand push-ups, and not being able to hold a bent arm straddle planche at all. I managed 5 floating pseudo-planche push-ups, which are push-ups where you lean forward to bring your shoulders in front of your hands and lift your feet up at the bottom. However, as you can see, I was more jumping than floating, which is due to a lack of strength in that position. Just before we get started, if you take anything away from this video, make sure to hit like, as it helps me out a ton and doesn't cost you anything. The workout routine that I had initially planned to do was based on the advice from several calisthenics athletes who I've met, who recommended training one skill every day for about 10 sets, mixing both statics and dynamics. I figured that such a drastic increase in training volume would be too much for my body to handle, so I decided to go with what I thought was a fairly conservative 8 sets per workout, and alternating horizontal strength, vertical strength, and skill work. To maintain my pulling skills, I also incorporated 2 sets of pulling into each workout. The first workout went pretty well. It took about 45 minutes, as I was taking long rests between each set, and was pretty tiring, although not fully exhausting, as my calisthenics workouts often are. That was simply due to having about half the number of sets as usual, since I was going to be training every day. I did 4 sets of floating pseudo-planche push-ups, followed by 4 sets of regular pseudo-planche push-ups, and ended the workout there. On the second day, I started with a vertical push workout, but quickly realized that doing 8 hard sets every day was far too much, as I was still feeling very sore and fatigued from the day before. So today I had to cut my workout short by 2 sets because I was just feeling too fatigued and knew that any extra sets I did would just be junk volume. Doing 8 sets every day of intense shoulder training is just way too much for me. And I've learnt from my handstand push-up challenge that I did a while back that there's no point going to the point where I'm too fatigued to have a good workout every day, or I'm just going to lose progress instead of make any progress. So I'm going to be cutting down my volume to 4 to 6 intense sets every day. I'll be keeping the high intensity sets, given that the 90-degree handstand push-up is a very high intensity exercise, and I want to train specifically for that. Day 3 was the first skill day, and started off with 10 minutes of basic handstand balance practice. It was a pretty rude wake-up call, as I haven't trained handstands nor done my wrist conditioning for about 3 weeks, and it showed. During the workout, my shoulders were too fatigued to do exercises that are normally pretty easy for me, and I could barely even do the pike push-ups in the warm-up. Additionally, I felt zero motivation to train that day, all of which are signs of overreaching and not enough recovery. Because of this, I decided to further cut down my sets from 6 to 5 each workout. With the reduction in training volume, my workout on day 4 was under 30 minutes, which felt almost wrong since I was ending before my muscles were even starting to feel fatigued. But I cut it there as I knew that I wouldn't have a good workout the next day if I pushed any harder. I managed 4 sets of 3 to 4 reps of floating pseudo-planche push-ups, and 1 set of 10 regular pseudo-planche push-ups. From this point, I started to make real progress, managing more reps of deep handstand push-ups the next day and overall feeling more recovered. I also decided to swap the crow to handstand on the skill day with deep handstand push-up eccentrics, trying to finish in the bent arm planche position as it's more specific to the 90-degree push-up.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I got all this potential that's deep inside of me, but they hate when you're successful cause they try to be. They sit there being judgmental because you're trying things, and they just want you to settle and do the right thing. So get a good job, don't slack off. Wake up every morning, make a good impression on your boss. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do, and when you're making money, make sure you don't spend it too soon. Fuck that, I'll do what I wanna do. I got a different path from everyone. Unfortunately, for the next 4 weeks, I wasn't at home, as I was moving around for holiday, visiting family, and attending events. My training became very irregular, as I couldn't find the time or energy to fit a full workout in on most of the days.
After not training for a couple of days, I decided that just doing 1 to 2 sets each day was better than nothing, so tried to stick to doing some exercises each day, no matter how little. While my progress definitely wasn't optimal during these weeks, I think that I managed to maintain and even make a bit of progress in the first 2 weeks of the holiday. In the last 2 weeks, I was just staying in Singapore and managed to fit 4 full workouts in there. As well as this, I continued doing my 1 to 2 sets of exercise on days that I couldn't fit a full workout in. This was all pretty inconsistent, so I don't think I really gained a lot of strength, but I did manage to maintain most of it. At the end of the 6 weeks, I tested my strength again and managed to do 9 back-to-wall handstand push-ups, touching my nose to the floor, which is unfortunately the same number that I got on the first day of testing. However, my bent arm straddle planche improved significantly, from not being able to hold it at all to managing a solid 5-second hold. I also couldn't test my maximum elevated handstand push-ups as I didn't have the same stools with me in Singapore, but when I got back home I tested it and managed 4.5 reps, even after a couple of sets of weighted dips. So I think that if I was doing it fresh, I would definitely be able to do the 5 to 6 reps that I had achieved in week 2. This is a huge improvement from the 2 to 3 reps at the start, and I know that if I trained it consistently, I could have increased it even further. To be honest, I was debating whether I should or shouldn't publish this video, as I was away for over half the time and couldn't train consistently. However, for the sake of transparency and showing my entire journey in learning this skill, I decided to go for it. This is also a reminder that going on holiday shouldn't be an excuse to stop training completely, and that doing any small amount is better than doing nothing. While nothing crazy, I still managed to make progress while I was away, which brings me closer to my end goal of the 90-degree push-up. For the next 6 weeks, I'll be training for the planche, and we'll be starting a Road to Planche series as well. I've created a general plan for my training blocks this year, which I'll put on the screen now, and we'll be making a video at the end of each block to show you guys my workouts and progress, and hopefully motivate some of you along the way. That's it for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.